Yes, people, welcome back. And the news is finally official. The man has finally been sacked. Bayern Munich have finally got some balls and decided to make the big decision that was probably dragged on for too long. Thomas Tuchel has finally been sacked by Bayern Munich. And the only real shame is that obviously he will be sacked end of the season. So he will be staying until the rest of the season. And he will be sacked after the final game of the season. And really, if you're any Bayern Munich fan, I think you're having a whole party right now. Because that guy is an absolute criminal and a fraud of a manager. He is, bro. I don't know what has happened to him. After everything he did at Chelsea, went to Bayern Munich, people thought he would do great things over there. And just completely destroyed his legacy and destroyed Bayern Munich. And that guy, good luck to him, bro. But I don't know if he's going to find a decent managerial job in a very long time now. Because after what he did at Bayern Munich, I think everything he's done in the past is just completely destroyed. Because people will now be looking at what he did at Bayern Munich like, Thomas Tuchel, ooh, I think there's better managers out there. And to be fair, I think me personally, I think Thomas Tuchel should have been sacked last season. Obviously, he came in mid-season after the bizarre sacking of Nagelsmann, and the board decided to bring in Tuchel because they thought the treble was in danger. They decided to bring my man Tuchel in, and I think within the space of 2 weeks, he knocked them out of 2 cup competitions, the German Cup, and completely getting embarrassed by Manchester City in the Champions League. And then if it weren't for Dortmund having a monumental collapse on the final day, then they would have been trophyless under Tuchel as well last season. So I feel like he should have been sacked last season. Unfortunately, he didn't. The board had to suffer the fate, which they rightfully deserved to do it, because the Bayern board's been moving pretty sketchy for a long time, and the Nagelsmann sacking and bringing in Tuchel was the final pin in the coffin for the Bayern board, and they're completely replaced. They had to give Tuchel a whole season because they couldn't just sack him after they just bought him in. So that's what they did. They gave Tuchel a season. They bought in Harry Kane. They bought in Kim Min-jae, 2 excellent players. Obviously, Harry Kane, one of the best strikers in the world. Kim Min-jae was probably one of the best defenders in Serie A last season. Hang on one second. This camera is kind of moving shady as well. And so you can't really say Tuchel wasn't backed by the Bayern board. And on top of that too, Bayern Munich have world-class players in every position almost. You know, Musiala, Kimmich, Goretzka's a very good player, Coman, who else? Neuer, Harry Kane, obviously, Kim as well, very good player, De Ligt, Alphonso Davies, you know, my Canadian brother. So Bayern Munich have a very good team, and the way Bayern Munich have been moving this season, the performances they've been having, even though they've been winning the games, if you were to talk to any Bayern Munich fan, they would tell you like, yo, this is not the Bayern Munich we know, that we're not dominating games. We're just about winning the games. The football isn't attractive. It's not really fun to watch Bayern anymore play. And it's only a matter of time before we have a collapse. And the collapse happened. This whole week has been terrible for Thomas Tuchel. 3 losses in a row in the space of 1 week, which is unheard of. Bayern Munich, you know, they're behind in the Champions League against Lazio, a team that they should have hammered very easily. They lost to Leverkusen, and that too, Leverkusen completely dominated them, outplayed them. And they lost to Bochum, a team that's mid-table in the Bundesliga. So I feel like Thomas Tuchel has just completely just destroyed Bayern Munich after everything he did at Chelsea, the reputation he built up, the status he built himself up as a manager. Go to Bayern Munich, people thought he would do fantastic things over there. He'd win him as Champions League, all that kind of stuff. Just to see it completely destroyed within the space of a year. Because what he's done with that Bayern team, it is criminal. He's absolutely destroyed the team. The players over there don't look like they're playing for him. They don't want to play for him, clearly, because I don't know what's going on. He's falling out with a lot of key players as well. Like every week you see the German media coming out like, oh, he's falling out with Kimmich. This player is falling out with that player is falling out with. Every week he's just falling out with the player. And to me, it's kind of like the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. Second, I saw how Kimmich was being treated. I felt like the writing was on the wall. But he's been sacked. Tuchel has been sacked. He's gone. And to be fair, I feel like this whole Bayern journey of his will have a huge stain on his career, because after what happened at Bayern, after what he's done to this team, I don't know if there are going to be any top clubs that are going to be willing to pick this guy up. You know, considering everything he did in the past with Chelsea, just to completely destroy it coming to Bayern Munich. So Tuchel, I don't know. I don't know if any decent club's going to come in for him again. I think he might just have to go back and restart his career. But in terms of Bayern Munich, who's their next manager? Obviously, Tuchel's still staying until the end of the season. So Bayern fans still got to put up with him until the season ends. But obviously, they have started looking at replacements. Obviously, the main name that has popped up is Xabi Alonso. Bayern Munich doing a typical Bayern Munich, seeing there's competition in the Bundesliga and just take their best manager. And they'll probably go take one of their best players too. I wouldn't be surprised if they take Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen as well. So it looks like they're aiming for Xabi Alonso. That is the number one replacement on the horizon. Another name that's been linked as well heavily was Zidane. Zidane, a manager I talked about yesterday. About Zidane. How he's been out of work for a long time, so I don't really think he's the best choice for Bayern Munich. But I wouldn't mind seeing Zidane at Bayern Munich. I think he'd be a very good manager for them. However, the only question mark about Zidane is that just because he's been out of work for a really long time, is he really the right manager? And on top of that too, like, I don't feel like Zidane's been tested outside of Real Madrid. I feel like Real Madrid is the only club he's been to, Zidane, and I feel like he just hasn't been tested as well. So I guess there's arguments about Zidane. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think he's going to go to Bayern Munich. He's not a Bayern Munich manager. He is just terrible. Antonio Conte, no, he's not going to Bayern Munich either. So really, it's just Xabi Alonso, Zidane, maybe a return of Hansi Flick. That, honestly, I would love to see. As a neutral, I would love to see them get Hansi Flick back, because Hansi Flick had a very dangerous Bayern Munich team. The way they were playing under Hansi Flick, the football they're playing, the way they're absolutely demolishing teams for fun, I think that's what Bayern needs to go back to. Just going back to playing some good football, go back to getting a hipster manager, playing some good football, and just demolishing teams. That's what they need to go back to, because that's really what I've grown up with Bayern Munich, you know. Every time I watch Bayern Munich play, they always have a lot of the ball, create so many chances, score so many goals, and just demolish teams for fun. That's what I've known for Bayern Munich. And I think they just need to go back to that DNA, bring in a manager like Xabi Alonso or Hansi Flick, or even a De Zerbi. I think would do pretty good for them as well. Just to go back to those attacking DNAs that Bayern Munich had and just destroying teams for fun. I think that's what Bayern Munich needs to go back to. And me personally, if I were a Bayern fan, I'd probably love to see Hansi Flick back at the club. People are obviously saying Xabi Alonso. Again, people forget that this is Xabi Alonso's first big managerial job, Leverkusen. You know, before he joined Leverkusen, he was managing, I think, the under-20 team. I'm not sure. I think he was managing the under-20 team for Leverkusen. And then all of a sudden he joined mid-season. He was actually meant to be an interim, and then he did such a good job that he was given the job full-time. However, I don't feel like this is only Xabi Alonso's first full season into management. So I feel like the step up would be very big for him. I feel like it would be a very big risk with Xabi Alonso, you know. Even though he's an ex-player, I feel like the step up would be very big, and it'd be a very big risk with Xabi Alonso. So I don't think he should be the right choice right now. If I were Xabi Alonso, I'd probably stay at Leverkusen and continue building my career there, and then probably look for a bigger move. But if I were Bayern, I'd go for Hansi Flick. That's probably the man I'd go back for. Just go back to Hansi Flick. That's probably what I'd do if I were Bayern Munich. Obviously, I think they will end up going for Xabi Alonso at the end of the day, because it is Xabi Alonso. Bayern Munich, they'll probably take a competitor's manager. Just that's what they do in the Bundesliga. It's a whole farmers league over there. And in terms of Liverpool fans are also in the mud now with this too, because Xabi Alonso's obviously, ever since Klopp has announced his departure, Xabi Alonso's the man that Liverpool fans and Liverpool have been trying to get in as the replacement for Klopp. And apparently I saw a news article in Germany that Xabi Alonso actually favors a move to Bayern Munich ahead of Liverpool. So Liverpool fans could be in the mud in terms of that. You know, Xabi Alonso is obviously joining the bigger club, Bayern Munich, and Liverpool fans back in the mud, back in the banter days where we man belong, losing 6-1 to Stoke. So I don't know about this whole managerial merry-go-round that's going around this whole summer. Obviously, Barcelona need a manager. Bayern Munich now need a manager. Liverpool need a manager. United, they'll probably sack Ten Hag. Chelsea, who knows what's going on over there. And who knows, maybe more clubs as well could end up sacking their manager as well, or have a managerial department as well. So this whole summer is looking like a whole merry-go-round in terms of managers. But this is a quick little reaction video on Thomas Tuchel getting sacked by Bayern and what I think is next for Bayern Munich. Just a quick little thought from me.